Finally, spring is here with some gorgeous weather to kick things off. We do have some showers overnight, but I'll let you know if that will affect parts of your weekend.
School security. Today, Wake School Superintendent will give his State of the Schools address. What we're expecting to hear about efforts to keep your child safe.
TSA slowdown. The partial government shutdown is creating a headache for travelers. What you should do now to prepare for your upcoming trip.
WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Good morning and happy Friday and happy first day of spring. I'm Kirsten Clark.
And I'm Ken Smith. Feels good to see that.
Oh, it does.
And the weather is cooperating. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
We can confidently say welcome to spring with these beautiful temperatures. Looking at highs in the low 70s this afternoon. Lots of sunshine. We'll likely have some increase in our cloud cover late today with some rain on the way tonight. But we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Looking beautiful from our Jimmy V camera as we look down Fayetteville Street. I don't see a lot of people out and about at the moment, but probably we'll see people in jackets this morning. We do have a southerly flow, and that's what will warm up our temperatures. We were 65 yesterday. We'll be about 5 to 7 degrees warmer this afternoon. But right now it's 40 in the Triangle, but 36 in Fayetteville, as well as Goldsboro, Rocky Mount, and Wilson, and 34 in Roxborough. Temperatures as we head through the afternoon, of course, looking good. 65 at lunchtime, and we'll see a high of 72. Increasing clouds late today, and we'll have a chance of showers after dinner time all the way through around sunrise on Saturday. We'll walk through it and I'll show you why it's probably not going to have much of an effect on your weekend. Coming up, Ken.
Hey, Elizabeth, happening now with the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, we got a real trouble spot on that to the east of Raleigh. We're talking about I-87 and Smithfield Road. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic there. And this is part of the usual morning commute in terms of congestion. So right now you can see it right here between the Smithfield Road exit and the I-540 interchange, just bumper-to-bumper traffic. So if you're coming in from Zebulon, Rendell, all points east, you might want to take Knightdale Boulevard or Business 64 because you're looking at a 12-minute delay at this point, particularly if you're in a rush. Let's bring it to the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us. I see some flashing lights there. I'll definitely be able to check on that in just a few minutes. But right now, we're not picking up any delays on that southern loop of the Beltline whatsoever. And if you're coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area, no delays between Highway 36 and the Beltline. So it's clear sailing right now on I-40 westbound and eastbound for that matter. So right there's the delays that we've been talking about in I-87. Right now it's up to a 13-minute delay, but all the other routes are relatively delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. In Durham this morning, 9 apartments were affected by smoke from a fire. This was the scene on East Cornwallis Road when the WRAL breaking news tracker arrived just before 2:30 this morning. Neighbors tell us the fire started in an HVAC unit. We're working to learn if everyone was able to return to their homes after the evacuation. Today, people in Wake County will get a better idea of how the school system is doing. The superintendent is set to deliver his State of the Schools address. Let's go to WRAL's Kelsey Coffey right now. She's outside Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School. And Kelsey, we got in touch with the district about what we could hear today in that address.
Yes, Kirsten, today Wake County parents will be able to hear more about plans and priorities for the school district. And security enhancements are one of the top priorities right now. Superintendent Robert Taylor will be here at Southeast Raleigh High School to talk more about ways to keep your students safe. So this all comes after 2 schools went on lockdown on the same day in recent weeks because a weapon was found on campus. A student at Millbrook High School was accused of bringing a loaded gun to school, and an elementary school student was accused of trying to bring a machete into East Garner Elementary. The district says an independent security assessment of every school and administrative facility was completed back in 2021. They say they have already implemented several recommendations from those assessments, and now they're considering using weapon detectors in schools. So the school system says that Superintendent Taylor does plan to address some other topics, including enhancing support for students' mental health and talking about some of the financial struggles that the district has been facing. You can watch our later newscast for our coverage of today's State of the Schools address that's scheduled to start at 3 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
A partial government shutdown is creating long lines at TSA checkpoints all across the country. This is, of course, requiring travelers in some cases to get to the airports 3 to even 4 hours before their flights. Let's bring in WRAL's Ali Kattlebar. She's been at the airport all morning long monitoring foot traffic. And Ali, this is coming at a time where so many people are getting away for spring break travel.
Yeah, we have spoken to some spring break travelers. They said they got here early because of the concerns about those TSA lines. Right now, it is pretty quiet, but we have seen it ebb and flow throughout the morning. And this is a look at those long lines. But we do have some guidance. AAA tells us some guidance that you need to know. So first thing, you want to make sure that you have your airline's app on your phone. Make sure that that's downloaded. This will help you easily rebook the next flight if yours get canceled. Now, enroll in TSA PreCheck, apply online, and enroll at a select location in person. Wake County does have more than a dozen options. It costs around $80 for a 5-year membership, and approval could take between 3 and sometimes 60 days. AAA does say it's worth it. We spoke with a traveler who says that she saw the concern with the partial government shutdown, possibly some long lines. She made sure she got here early.
All over social media, it's been RDU, the security lines, and even if you have TSA PreCheck are clear. And so I'm not a person that likes to hang out at the airport. I like to kind of walk right in, go to my gate and keep it moving. But I'm actually here 2 hours early.
Yeah, so she got here early. Luckily, the lines weren't bad when she got here, but it really just depends on when you get here. Now, AAA does give some tips, some advice, some guidance on what you can do if you're planning on booking a trip. They say make sure you have travel insurance. Reporting live at RDU, Ali Kattlebar, WRAL News.
And I tell you what, not that it's a contest, but I mean, what they're seeing at Atlanta's airport, nothing like what we're seeing at RDU. I mean, it is significantly longer. Let me put this in a full screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. Let me show you just how long this is. And this is in the baggage claim area. You see how many people are in that line right there? And these people that are around that vehicle that's being advertised in the airport, just a significant amount of people that are being backed up because of what's going on in regard to TSA lines with people that are trying to get through the other way. It's just a mess, quite frankly. But again, a lot of this has to speak to what's going on regarding the partial government shutdown. Will things clear up? Not sure. But if you're going through Atlanta today, get ready for a wait.
Hopefully it clears up soon. Let's get you caught up on what's new in the war on Iran this morning. New video is giving new insight about an airstrike on a key Iranian energy site. Verified eyewitness footage shows flames and smoke rising near Iran's South Pars gas field. You can see it there. This reportedly happened on Wednesday. Iranian state media says the fire has been brought under control, and it ignited when that airstrike hit gas storage tanks and parts of the refinery. Iran blamed Israel for the strike. Iran has vowed to retaliate, and an oil refinery in Kuwait has already been targeted overnight. Because the attack disrupted gas flows to Iraq, that's made global oil prices go even higher. As for gas prices here, according to AAA, the average for a gallon of gas here in Raleigh is around $3.67. That's up 88 cents from a month ago. In Wilmington, gas is around $3.69, and in Asheville, it's a little cheaper at $3.56.
North Carolina Senate Leader Phil Berger is on the clock, so to speak. He has until 5 p.m. today to request an initial hand recount for the Republican primary results in his district. Election officials finished the machine machine recount yesterday, which still had Berger trailing Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page by 23 votes out of about 26,000 ballots. Berger can still request a hand recount because of that slim margin. Now, that would require elections officials to pull a random sample of about 3% of the ballots and count them by hand as soon as next week. Recounts are just one way Berger hopes to change the election outcome. You can read more about his legal moves at the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Well, two nail-biting finishes for Duke and UNC fans in the opening round of the NCAA tournament.
But one team's season did come to an end yesterday.
The Tar Heels took on the VCU Rams in the opening round yesterday. UNC took a 19-point lead in the second half, but VCU came all the way back. The Rams tied the game with just 11 seconds left, forcing overtime. They kept their momentum going in the extra period, ending the Tar Heels season with an 82-78 win.
Yeah, on the other hand, Kirsten, Duke moving on to the second round after a tough fight from 16-seed Siena Saints. The top-seeded Blue Devils were down by 13 points in the second half. They came back and took the lead in the final 5 minutes, Duke winning that game 71-65. They play TCU in the second round tomorrow. Tip-off is at 5:15 in the afternoon. And happening today, Women's March Madness right here in the Triangle. Duke will host Charleston at 11:30 this morning. At 5:30 this evening, UNC hosts Western Illinois. And at 8 tonight, NC State plays Tennessee in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Mark Robinson's porn obsession, the former lieutenant governor's podcast appearance, and why he said he first lied about his 2024 run for governor.
And Art in Bloom, coming up, one of the most anticipated events is back at the North Carolina Museum of Art. We'll have that story and more in our Out and About segment.
And it's the first day of spring. And you know, part of spring is chilly mornings, and it's definitely cool on the patio this morning. But we do climb into the low 70s later on this afternoon, and we keep warming over the weekend. A little bit of rain, though. I'll show you when to expect that coming up. Taking a look outside at what's happening out there. Our next weather maker is the high pressure system that's sitting offshore, and that is feeding in some warmer air. It's going to make our temperatures nice and warm through the afternoon. And then we're looking at that front that's going to dive down and bring us a chance of some rain overnight tonight. That's going to start right around dinner time or just after and last up until around sunrise tomorrow. It doesn't look like it's going to have a big effect on your day on Saturday, but I'm going to walk you through Futurecast. I'll show you when the skies start to clear coming up. Here's a live look at downtown as we take a look from our Jimmy V camera at Fayetteville Street. Our temperatures are chilly this morning. I'm pretty happy I have this jacket on. 34 in Roanoke Rapids, 36 in Fayetteville and Wilson, 36 in Rocky Mount as well. If you're headed to the park this afternoon on this beautiful first day of spring, it looks gorgeous. We'll see highs in the low 70s. We do have increasing clouds, and notice there at 9 o'clock that little sprinkle starting to show up down the way. Again, I'll show you how much rain and how long it will last tonight coming up.
Hey, Elizabeth, weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We're still monitoring some heavy congestion on those I-87 southbound lanes coming in from Knightdale this morning. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic there. So as we widen out the view, give you a look at that entire stretch of I-87 this morning, you can see the main congestion is happening between I-87, that Smithfield Road exit, and the I-540 interchange. But once you get past the 540 interchange, it's clear sailing all the way to the Beltline, because right now you're looking at a 10-minute delay at this hour.
Ken, thank you. More than a year after his run for governor, former North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson admitted to lies he told and his porn obsession. He made the admission during an appearance on the After the Call podcast. He also addressed a CNN report that he made racist and lewd comments on a pornographic website. That came out just before the 2024 election. He denied the reports at the time, but now says he lied to protect people tied to his campaign.
I won't say that I completely lied. Some of the things about the whole story, some of it, there's some truth to it. But there again, those were the things that I wanted to separate at that moment. I wanted to separate those things. But again, the most expedient thing to do for the people around me was to just continue to fight. And if I had to ignore the truth at that moment for their expediency, I felt like it was the right thing to do.
Robinson went on to say that he feels like he let down an entire state. When asked what he would do if he had to go through it again, Robinson said he would react the exact same way.
Well, today, Durham's longest-serving mayor will be honored with a building renamed for him. This morning, Durham County Admin 2 building will be named the Bill Bell Building. He was Durham's mayor from 2001 to 2017. Among his accomplishments in office, he championed economic development and expanded opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses. The ceremony will be held at 10 o'clock this morning.
Preparing for takeoff, the Artemis II rocket is on its way to the launch pad. The 4-mile trek started after midnight and is expected to take up to 12 hours. This is the second time NASA has rolled the rocket out to the launch site. A helium issue had to be repaired after the last attempt. NASA officials are still targeting for April 1st for liftoff. And the crew is in quarantine right now ahead of their mission. And the crew includes a familiar face, NC State grad Christina Cook.
A lot of fun events planned all across the Triangle this weekend.
It's our favorite time to take a look at WRAL's Out and About.
Yeah, one of the most anticipated events is back at the North Carolina Museum of Art. Art in Bloom transformed the museum into a breathtaking floral gallery. Talented designers from all across the state interpret the museum's collection through flowers. This event is happening now through Sunday, but keep in mind it is sold out.
No, yeah, and tomorrow, a festival of fantasy fun gets underway at Mordecai Historic Park. The All Ages Away with the Fairies event brings you to a market full of magic, dragons, mischief, and so much more. It features local makers, food vendors, and crafts. And don't forget, you have to wear your best fairy or fantasy attire. It runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow. Also, tomorrow morning, the annual Ella's Race gets underway. Every year, the race raises money for cancer research. This is the 14th annual race, and there are 10K, 5K, and 1-mile runs, so a race for everyone. For more weekend best bets, you can visit WRAL.com and search Out and About.
Well, we've been saying it. Today is the official start of spring. Let's bring in meteorologist Grant Skinner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Grant, it has already been a warmer than average March. So is that warmth expected to continue through the spring season?
It likely will. We'll see above average temperatures the next couple of weeks, and we're trending above average over the next few months as well. We'll talk about why in a second. Of course, the main reason why we have seasons, the Earth is tilted on its axis. As it revolves around the sun, we get different amounts of sunlight throughout the course of the year. Right now, we have an equal amount of sunlight or daylight and darkness at all latitudes. But as we get closer to the summertime, we'll have more of that sunlight, more of that warmth towards the summer season. So look at the springtime highs. By May 1st, 77 degrees. By June 1st, looking forward to that 84 degrees for our average high. Of course, we won't see that at all times, but it'll be trending warmer. And trending warmer for the next few months. Above average temperatures for the desert southwest all the way to the southeast. Not as warm as will be out west, but still trending quite warm across much of the U.S. And rainfall outlook, this would be good, Elizabeth. We'll might trend wetter for a lot of spots. We need the rain. We've had the drought conditions, so looking forward to some more rain across the area.
Boy, do we need it. I'm going to show you the drought monitor in just a few minutes. Thanks, Grant. Okay, let's talk about what's new now and next. What's new is, unfortunately, Monday's front looks weaker. We were looking at maybe a good soaking rain for Monday. Now it looks like we just won't see much rain at all. And now it is the first day of spring, which I'm very excited about. The birds are too. I don't know if you can hear them. We're starting to see things blooming here in the gardens. Not many azaleas just yet, but I think maybe another 2 weeks and it'll start to look good. And then it lasts through a good bit of April. Next is scattered rain overnight tonight. This is a look at the gardens behind me, of course. It's 40 degrees. A southerly flow is going to warm things up nicely for us today. We'll see a high of 72. Then 79 for Saturday and 84 on Sunday. So hopefully you can find a chance to get outside. Then that front that's to our north between Minneapolis and Chicago, we're going to see a little energy from that sinking southward, and that will be our next weather maker. That means a few showers possible tonight, and then we'll be drier and warmer for the remainder of the weekend. We start Futurecast at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and you can see close to the evening commute, it clouds up some. Then a chance for showers around 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, all the way out until around midnight. We may get a little break, and there might be one more wave that comes through between, say, 5 and 7 a.m. And then it looks like we're done. We're taking on through the afternoon, and we're seeing clearing skies, and boy, the temperatures really warm up nicely. So 40% chance overnight, but it does not look like it's going to affect the weekend for most of us. If you're a really early riser around 6 or 7 in the morning, you might still see some rain, but it's not going to be much. Most of us don't have any accumulating rain in the next 7 days. And of course, drought monitor wise, that's not good. We're looking at, say, Lee County and Moore County dropping from severe to moderate drought. And so that was definitely good to see. But boy, we need to see that across the area. Our warmest day of the week, 84 on Sunday. We'll talk about how close that is to a record coming up.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. Boy, that congestion really beginning to ease up a little bit on those I-87 southbound lanes coming in from Nightdale this morning. If you're with us in the last hour, it was bumper to bumper traffic. The delay times was like in the double digits area. So as we widen out the view right now, we're just seeing a little bit of a slowdown, and it just disappeared. Look at that. Just a 4-minute delay coming in from Nightdale this morning. So that's really good news. This is the southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. That's the usual morning congestion that we see usually this time of the morning, but I just checked the sensors, and you're looking at maybe a 1 to 2 minute delay at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Still to come, data center debate. Why some local places are halting their plans to build them, and what community members want to know from leaders about this. If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Do that at
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. It is 8:26. I'm Kirsten Clark. It is the first day of spring, and good news, it's going to feel like it. Here's meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with your forecast.
It definitely feels crisp out here on the patio this morning, that's for sure. But it is beautiful in the gardens. We're seeing sunshine everywhere. 30s to around 40 heading out the door, though. Southern Pines at 45 now, but 36 in Fayetteville, 37 in Roanoke Rapids, 36 in Rocky Mount, and 38 in Goldsboro. It feels crisp walking the dog. You probably want a jacket. The sunshine's starting to feel really comfortable, though. 65 at lunchtime. We'll see a high of 72 this afternoon. By the evening, a few isolated showers. They move out by the bulk of the day Saturday.
Elizabeth, happening now. We got a trouble spot brewing on that northern loop of the Beltline, more specifically around the I-440 Ridge Road interchange. You can see congestion beginning to build a little bit. So as we give you a look at our live map this morning, you can see that crash right there blocking the shoulder of the road, and the congestion stretching all the way back to Wake Forest Road. So if you're taking that northern loop of the Beltline this morning, here's what you're looking at. You're looking at an 11-minute delay. So depending on where you're headed this morning, you might want to opt for the southern loop of the Beltline at this hour.
Ken, thank you. This morning, 9 apartments in Durham were affected by smoke from a fire. This was the scene on East Cornwallis Road just before 2:30 this morning. Neighbors tell us the fire started in an HVAC unit, and we're working to learn if everyone was able to return to their homes after the evacuation. And today, Wake County School Superintendent Robert Taylor will discuss security enhancements in today's State of the Schools address. This comes after 2 schools went on lockdown on the same day because a weapon was found on campus. The State of the Schools address is scheduled for 3 o'clock today. Stay with us on Fox 50 up next.
Finally, spring is here with some gorgeous weather to kick things off. We do have some showers overnight, but I'll let you know if that will affect parts of your weekend.
School security. Today, Wake School Superintendent will give his State of the Schools address. What we're expecting to hear about efforts to keep your child safe.
TSA slowdown. The partial government shutdown is creating a headache for travelers. What you should do now to prepare for your upcoming trip.
Of course, they're asking everybody to be patient because those TSA workers are not getting paid, but they're showing up anyway. So all that's and more coming up here in this half hour. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Kirsten Clark. It's also the first day of spring, Ken, the day we've all been waiting for. Finally here.
Love it.
Yeah, let's turn now to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner outside today to kick off the spring.
And it is crisp and cool out here this morning, but temperatures will warm up fast. Take a look here. Welcome to spring. This afternoon, temperatures will be in the low 70s. Lots of sunshine, no clouds out this morning, but late today we'll end up with the potential for a few clouds as we see a chance for rain overnight. Right now it's 40 degrees in the Triangle, but our flow is coming out of the south, and that allows our temperatures to warm up nicely today. Still a lot of 30s on the map. It's 36 in Fayetteville and in Roxborough, as well as Rocky Mount and Wilson, 38 in Goldsboro, and 45 right now in Southern Pines. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s by lunchtime, probably warm enough to spend your lunch hour outside if you have that opportunity, and then we'll see a high of 72. By the time we get to, say, 9 or 10, we have the chance of some patchy light rain that could continue all the way into the morning hours of Saturday. We'll walk through Futurecast, and I'll let you know when it ends.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Boy, things are getting a lot better on that northern loop of the Beltline this morning. This is I-440 and Ridge Road. The westbound lanes coming toward us. There was a crash at first responders were working right there at I-440 near Ridge Road, blocking the shoulder of the road. It was huge congestion just a little while ago, but things have definitely cleared up quite a bit. So in terms of that northern loop of the Beltline, right now you're just looking at a 10-minute delay because of that slowdown around the Six Forks Road area. So keep that in mind as you're about to head out this morning. For those of you coming in from Chapel Hill, Orange County, in those areas right now, there's a huge delay on I-40 eastbound because of a crash right near Highway 55. So be really sure your best bet would be to get off on Highway 54 as an alternate route and avoid I-40 eastbound at this hour. Let's take that southern loop of the Beltline, show you what we were talking about here. Well, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, that's the usual bumper-to-bumper traffic we see this time of the morning on that southern loop of the Beltline. But it's congested as that looks. You're just looking at a 2-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. In Durham this morning, 9 apartments were affected by smoke from a fire. This was the scene on East Cornwallis Road when the WRAL breaking news tracker arrived just before 2:30 this morning. Neighbors tell us the fire started in an HVAC unit. We're working to learn if everyone was able to return to their homes after the evacuation. And parents, we understand you're invested in what goes on at Wake County Public Schools and what that means for you and your family. We could learn more on this today during the Superintendent's State of the Schools address. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is outside Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School explaining why safety will be a big focus during today's address.
Today, Wake County parents can hear about plans and priorities for the school district. Security enhancements are one of those top priorities, and Superintendent Robert Taylor will be here at Southeast Raleigh High School to talk about ways to help keep your students safe. And this all comes after 2 schools went on lockdown on the same day in recent weeks because a student brought a weapon to campus. A student at Millbrook High School was accused of bringing a loaded gun to school, and an elementary school student was accused of trying to bring a machete into East Garner Elementary. The district says an independent security assessment of every school and administrative facility was completed back in 2021. They say they have already implemented several recommendations from those assessments, and now they're considering using weapon detection systems in schools. The school system says Superintendent Taylor plans to address some other topics, including support for students' mental health and some of the financial struggles that the district has been facing. You can tune into our later newscast to see our coverage of the State of the Schools address that's scheduled to start at 3 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
New overnight, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mohammad Khomeini is calling for the enemies of his nations to have their security taken away. His remarks come after Israeli strikes killed the country's intelligence minister earlier this week. Also overnight, Iran hit a Saudi oil refinery in the Red Sea, natural gas facilities in Qatar, and 2 oil refineries in Kuwait. The strikes come in retaliation for an Israeli attack on Iran's South Pars gas field. President Trump says there would be no further attacks from the U.S. or Israel on that field unless Iran attacked Qatar again.
And because the war in Iran is having an effect on gas prices here, we're getting you a look at those or where those average prices stand today. So here in Raleigh, a gallon of regular gas is around $3.69. The Durham Chapel Hill area is closer to $3.70 per gallon. And if you're traveling this weekend in Charlotte, it's at $3.67. Landscapers in our state say they're some of the hardest hit when it comes to gas prices. Just about everything they use runs on diesel fuel, which is more expensive.
Our crew have to travel back and forth to go to each job, which increases the gas prices for them.
The hope is that prices will get better soon, and until that happens, many say they'll do what they can to manage.
Well, if you have plans to travel by air, TSA wait times could slow you down. As we take a live look this morning at Terminal 2 out at RD International, many officers are calling out, and the partial government shutdown means they are not getting paid. Well, that's where we find WRAL's Ali Katlabar this morning. Ali, there's some things that people can do right now to plan for their trips.
Yeah, AAA does tell us some guidance, and right now we are seeing it's pretty quiet here. It has been for the past few hours, but this morning we did see some of those long lines during that morning rush. It did move pretty slowly this morning, and you can see in this video here. Now, AAA, of course, says get here early, but if you have a trip coming up, AAA tells us some guidance. So enroll in TSA PreCheck, apply online, and enroll at a location in person. So Wake County has more than a dozen options. It costs around $80 for a 5-year membership, and approval could take between 3 and sometimes 60 days, but AAA says it is worth it. You'll also want to make sure you have your airline's app on your phone. This is going to help you easily rebook the next flight if yours gets canceled.
When those cancellations occur, you'll get a notification on your app, and it'll say, hey, flight canceled. Book now, reschedule, rebook, and you can do that right from the palm of your hand. You don't have to go wait in a very long line in the airport.
All right, we do not like those long lines. Now, if you haven't booked your trip yet and you're planning to, make sure you have travel insurance. That's what AAA says. Also, make sure you book on a weekday, and if it's possible, fly in and out of a smaller airport. Reporting live at RDU, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
And you may have just saw Ali up there going, is it really that bad everywhere? Well, yeah, some places. This is at George Bush International Airport in Houston, Texas. You can see quite a few people there are waiting to get through the clear line. It's kind of in the back there, and then usually near clear is the TSA pre-check line. But this just kind of shows you what other places are dealing with. Within the past 30 minutes, also showed you what it was looking at Atlanta's International Airport there. But again, just a reminder, as Ali was kind of talking about, give yourself enough time if you're going to be going to the airport, no matter where you're going across the United States today, because this is what you're likely going to run into.
Yeah. Well, North Carolina Senate leader Phil Berger is on the clock, so to speak. State election officials say Berger has until 5 p.m. this evening to request a hand recount for the Republican primary results in his district. Berger currently trails Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page by 23 votes, a margin that's remained unchanged after election officials finished a machine count Thursday. Now, because the candidates are separated by less than 1 percentage point, Berger can request a hand recount. That would require election officials to pull a random sample of about 3% of the ballots, of about 26,000, by the way, to count them by hand as soon as next week. Recounts are just one way Berger hopes to change the outcome of the election. You can read more about his legal moves at the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Two very close finishes for Duke and UNC fans in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. But one team season did come to an end yesterday. The Tar Heels took on the VCU Rams in the opening round yesterday. UNC took a 19-point lead in the second half, but VCU came all the way back. The Rams tied the game with 11 seconds left, forcing overtime, and they kept their momentum going in the extra period, ending the Tar Heels season with an 82-78 win. And Duke is moving on to the second round after a tough fight from the 16-seed Siena Saints. The top-seeded Blue Devils were down by 13 points in the second half. They came back and took the lead in the final 5 minutes, giving Duke the win 71-65. They play TCU in the second round tomorrow at 5:15 p.m. Coming up in 10 minutes, WRAL sports reporters Pat Welter and Chris Lee will break down the biggest moments from the Duke and UNC games.
Well, Kirsten, happening today, Women's March Madness happening right here in the Triangle. Duke will host Charleston at 11:30 this morning. 5:30 this evening, UNC hosts Western Illinois. And at 8 tonight, NC State plays Tennessee in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Well, today, Durham is looking to reduce violence in that city. A community conversation will be held, working out a plan to reach those most at risk. They will set priorities and shape the next phase of violence reduction. Today's session starts at 11 o'clock and goes until about 1:30 this afternoon, both in person and online.
More local governments are considering blocky data center developments, at least for a year, blocking them rather. Right now, Apex and Orange County are considering moratoriums for this very topic. A developer has already scrapped plans for a data center in Apex because of disapproval in the community. We talked with Mayor Jacques Gilbert about the proposal to pause any developments for a year. He says town leaders have received many questions about data centers as the technology evolves. He says there are some questions that can't be answered just yet.
When you have everyone sitting at the table together, having these discussions, there's a dialogue. Then we can figure out what is the best plan forward. And perhaps a year is still not enough time.
Mayor Gilbert says there's still a lot to learn about data centers and their potential impact on the town. He also says a community conversation will be needed before whatever comes next.
41.
Mark Robinson's porn obsession. Coming up, the former lieutenant governor spoke about the pornography scandal that sank his 2024 run for North Carolina governor. What he says he's learning from that experience.
.45. It's nice and chilly out here on the patio this morning on this first day of spring. Still some 30s showing up here. Fayetteville at 36, 36 in Rocky Mount and in Wilson, but 45 in Southern Pines, 40 in Raleigh, 41 in Roanoke Rapids. You're starting to see the temperatures creep up. By lunchtime, it feels good out. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s, lots and lots of sunshine. And then, of course, we're looking at a lot of pollen out there. I love spring. I'm so sorry. I'm one of those fortunate people who doesn't get affected too much by the allergies, but that tree pollen is of course, climbing and climbing. It's high right now. We started to see some of that pine pollen, which is the yellow, messy stuff, but it doesn't peak for another few weeks. Our temperatures this afternoon will be in the low 70s. It's going to feel great to get out for a walk. Of course, it's Friday, feeling good out there. Tonight, we have a chance of some showers. We'll walk you through the timeline coming up.
That is what's happening now. The WRAL Traffic Center. You remember I told you a little while ago about that crash on I-40 eastbound right near Highway 55. So there it is right there blocking the shoulder of the road. You can see it's affecting at least one lane, that inside lane right there on I-40 eastbound coming in from Durham, Chapel Hill this morning. So here's what it looks like on our live traffic map this morning. You can see the delays stretching all the way back to Highway 54. So Highway 54 is actually your best bet in terms of getting around that slowdown that we're seeing right now on I-40 eastbound.
Ken, thank you. Former North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson now admits to some lies he told when addressing posts he reportedly made on a pornography site. This was something that loomed over his campaign during his 2024 run for governor. The former lieutenant governor appeared yesterday on an episode of After the Call. His interview comes about a year and a half since CNN reported Robinson using an alias referred to himself as the Black Nazi. He also reportedly called for the reinstatement of slavery in the comments section of a pornographic site. At the time, Robinson denied those reports. Now, he says there is some truth to the allegations. He says he lied to protect those tied to his campaign for governor.
But I certainly don't want to be the person that cost the president of the United States the election. Didn't want to cost anyone else their election.
Robinson went on to say he feels like he let down the entire state. Now out of office, he says he wants to use the experience as a lesson for young men.
Well, the DMV has a new online tool so you can spend less time in line. How about that? You can now see wait times and capacity at every office in the state in real time. Governor Stein says this will help people decide when and where to get their DMV business done. 5 on Your Side's Keely Arthur investigating the fastest way to navigate the DMV and how to get an appointment. You can find her reporting in the 5 on Your Side section of WRAL.com and, of course, on the WRAL YouTube channel.
It was a scary first half for Duke fans yesterday, but they made the comeback to avoid an upset against Siena. WRAL's Pat Welter and Chris Lee break down the biggest moments from that game and the Tar Heels' surprise loss.
Good morning, folks. In the Triangle, we almost had to come home early last night because Duke was on upset alert, but then Carolina, they absolutely lost their 19-point lead versus VCU, and then in overtime, they lose the game. They're going home early themselves.
This one certainly didn't do Hubert Davis any favors, but some blame has to fall on the players as well, who had an 11-point halftime lead, surrendered a 19-point second half lead, just completely ran out of gas down the stretch versus VCU. They didn't score a field goal essentially the final 3 minutes of regulation in overtime. Just a gutting way for Carolina to go out in a season that's had a lot of ups but a lot of downs. Ends on a down low here, as Hubert Davis going to have a lot of questions to answer here as we enter the offseason, Chris.
On the other side, Duke took on Siena, 1 seed versus a 16 seed. Easy for the 1 seed, right? No way. Siena was up by 11 points at halftime, and eventually led them by as much as 13, but Duke slowly but surely got back into the game, and they finally took the lead with about 4 minutes left. Caden Boozer, career high 19 points. His brother Cameron Boozer, 22 points. 41 points for Boozers as Duke barely escapes the 16 seed, 71-65. So now Duke will take on TCU on Saturday right here in Greenville, South Carolina. And boy, I was really hoping to see Carolina versus Illinois, but that's not going to happen.
Hey, we're not going home yet. Duke still alive, and we are still alive, still ticking. If you're enjoying our conversations, this is just a short one. We got long form up on YouTube. We've got podcasts as well, so check us out on all the social media platforms. We're working hard for you here, having a good time in the process. For Chris Lee, I'm Pat Welter. You have yourselves a good morning.
Well, it's the day many of us have been waiting for, the first day of spring. And Elizabeth, it's chilly out there now, but we are expecting a warm up today.
You know, that's one of the nice things about spring. It's nice and crisp in the morning. It warms up so nicely in the afternoon. And today's going to be, in my book, just a perfect spring day. Temperatures are cool now. We'll warm up into the low 70s this afternoon. We have a little bit of rain in the weekend forecast, but it's mainly just overnight tonight into very early tomorrow. And then temperatures climb on up to nearly 80 Saturday and into the 80s on Sunday. Behind me, I think with all these warm temperatures, we'll continue to see the chance of the azaleas blooming. There are a couple of them over to my left that are starting to bloom, but most of it really hasn't gotten started just yet, but it's likely to be soon. So another week or two, maybe 2 weeks, it'll really start to look great out here behind me. 40 degrees right now. A southerly wind keeps things warm for us today, but we still have some chilly temperatures. Chapel Hill's at 35. It's 37 in Holly Springs, 39 in Rollsville, 40 in Garner right now. Around town, our high temperature in the low 70s with lots of sunshine. Now, late this afternoon, the clouds will thicken up as we see our next system bringing some rain later on tonight. But let's talk about the temperatures. You know, Tuesday and Wednesday, our temperatures were in the 40s for highs. So we've had some cool air up and down the East Coast. And then all the heat's been back to the west. You can see those red shaded areas. The red is where temperatures are above normal, and the blue is where temperatures are below normal. And we can see those above normal temperatures rolling right in here for the weekend. Now, we do have a front on Sunday, and behind it, we see temperatures drop a little bit, but we won't go too far below normal. 64 is normal. We'll hit 84 on Sunday, and then we're back to 60 on Tuesday. So it's a roller coaster ride, but it's not taking us all the way down into the 40s like we saw this week. We don't see a record high, however. 84 on Sunday doesn't meet that record of 89, so about 5 degrees from a record. And then don't forget our rain chances. The rain will start around 8 to 10 p.m. and last until around 6 or 7 tomorrow morning. As long as you're not up and about until 6 or 7, you should be just fine. And then our chances for rain on Monday are turning much lower. And so this front won't be as strong. It won't drop our temperatures as much on Tuesday, but we will start in the 30s, similar to this morning. And then we'll climb to only 60 in the afternoon. But by the middle of the week, highs are back into the 70s, Ken.
Elizabeth, thank you. Before we go to break, here's a look at the winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic up next.
Electric and Air, offering full heating and cooling solutions alongside our electrical expertise.
You're driving down the road and out of nowhere, boom, you get hit by a big truck. You're seriously hurt, you got huge medical bills, and you don't know how to pay for them. But then you call me and boom, just like that, I'm in there fighting to get you the big money you need. We recently got a client who was injured in a big truck wreck, $2.75 million.